Hello and welcome back to Chi-Town Weekly, everybody. Come on in. It is NFL Draft Week. Let's have some fun. We've been prepping and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting some more for the last 2+ months, but it is finally here. The NFL Draft starts Thursday night. What is Ryan Pace going to do? Are they going to move up for that quarterback? Are they going to stand pat and find somebody else? It's anybody's guess. And we've got Sean Hammond will be by to help us break down that for the Bears. Otherwise, there's lots more to talk about too. In the Bears, of course, there was the huge news over the weekend about Steve McMichael, one of the 85 greats. We will, of course, talk about that and what that means for one of the living legends in Chicago football. And then also, breaking news this morning over on the ice, Andrew Shaw announced his retirement from the Blackhawks. We will go back and reminisce and look at the Mutt's career a little bit with the Blackhawks, his 2 Stanley Cups, and some of his unique plays and ways that he made things interesting to watch on the ice. So everybody strap on in, buckle up, grab something to drink, grab a seat. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. Let's go. And thank you for tuning on into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk some sports with us, and let's get right into it. First up, of course, we've got to acknowledge our sponsors, Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're at a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. You can call AO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just 2 people on a mission to help families build a legacy. Follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut, on Instagram at Sims_uncut, and find them on Facebook at Legacy Financial. And also the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Follow them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, or find them on Instagram at Southern California_Warriors, and on Facebook search Southern California Warriors. And thank you again to our sponsors. And then, without any further ado, we are going to be talking all kinds of NFL draft here tonight. And to help us do that is our frequent returning guest, Sean Hammond from Shaw Media. You can follow Sean on Twitter at Sean_Hammond. Sean, thank you so much for coming back tonight.
Yeah, Adam, of course. Happy to be back. It's been a little while.
Yeah. The season ended, and then things got all kinds of crazy and busy. So, what is life like now for you now that the Bears season is done? What have you been up to?
Well, yeah, we've mostly been digging into the draft. Obviously, free agency kept us busy there for a while, and that was a hectic couple of weeks. And of course, we got the Andy Dalton news for the Bears, and that signing and everything that signals. But since then, it's been pretty much focused on the draft, and I've been doing a lot of reporting on some of these guys' pro days from their college pro days, and just catching up with players who are whose names we're going to hear this week.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course those odd media sessions where they call everybody to say lots of words with not a lot of information, but we won't get too much into those. So first up, of course, for the Bears, the first question on everybody's mind for Thursday: is there any way they get up to get one of these 5 quarterbacks?
Is there any way? Yes. There's always a way. I think it depends on a couple of things. It depends on which quarterbacks they like of the top 5. And it really depends. I really think that one of these guys is going to fall into the 7, 8, 9, 10 range. And then, if the guy they like falls into that range, I don't see why there's any reason they couldn't trade up and try to get that guy. Now, I don't think that's likely. I think they're far more likely to stand pat at number 20 and probably take the best offensive lineman, preferably a tackle at number 20. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility that they move up if the situation arises. Maybe it's one of those things where they say, okay, if X, Y, Z happens, then we give it a go and we try to trade up. And maybe that materializes. Maybe X, Y, Z does happen, but maybe it also, it could not. And then you move on to plan B and you, whether that be a tackle or something else.
A lot right there to go through just right there and all that. Let's stay with quarterback for a second. It seems for all the world that Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are going to be off the board, the first 2 guys. So do we have any idea who their guy might be if somebody starts falling?
I mean, it's really tough to say with these other 3. You got Mac Jones from Alabama, Justin Fields at Ohio State, and Trey Lance from North Dakota State. I could see any one of those 3 falling. There's been a lot of talk in recent days about the 49ers seem to be narrowing in on either Mac Jones or Trey Lance. I think there's I would bet on Justin Fields being the guy who falls, but, it's so hard to say right now. In a lot of ways, I think Justin Fields and Trey Lance are similar players in that, they play with somewhat similar styles, whereas, Mac Jones is not quite the same. Mac Jones is a little bit more, I don't want to say statue. Everybody says that, but that's not necessarily true. He can move a little bit. He's not as bad of an athlete as people say, but I could see the 49ers going in a number of different directions at number 3, and then that sort of has a trickle-down effect on these other quarterbacks and where they wind up going.
Yeah, it's that 3 spot really is, and then of course the Atlanta spot right after that is going to be fascinating to see what happens depending on which quarterback San Francisco goes with. So then let's focus then back on the Bears. You had mentioned taking an offensive tackle at 20. Where do you sit on this? Obviously, the Bears have a lot of needs. 3 of their biggest needs are offensive line help, wide receiver help, and corner help, which all 3 positions this year are really deep in this draft. Would you rather see them go after a specific position at 20 or go more of whomever the best guy is so long as he's at a position of need? Where do you feel better for the Bears on that?
I really feel that they're number one. Well, they need a quarterback, obviously, but I don't think they're in the right position to do it. Outside of that, I think they really need to go get a tackle. I mean, they have a huge hole at right tackle right now, and maybe you draft somebody who you can eventually move to left tackle in a year or 2 or 3, whatever it is. I think that's, their biggest need outside of a quarterback. And I really do think that I lean towards that's what they're going to do here. Now, you're right. They need receiving depth. They need another cornerback now that Kyle Fuller is gone. I just feel like that they at least have the option to get those types of guys in the second or third round. There's, like you said, there's a lot of receivers, and there's a lot of, they got Allen Robinson on the 1-year franchise tag deal. I think they're fairly confident that he's going to play on that and that he's going to be their number one option. So that creates maybe a little bit less of a sense of urgency to get a top level receiver. I think if you can find somebody to be your number 3, you can do that in the second or third round. Now, if there's always a possibility that a lot of tackles could go before they even pick. And if you don't like the guys who are left, sure, I could see them going a different route. As far as cornerback, though, they cut Kyle Fuller and basically created this situation for themselves. I would find it hard to believe that they're going to use their top pick on a cornerback after having just done that. I think they feel fairly confident in the guys that they have right now, and Kindle Vildor and Desmond Trufant to sort of pick up the slack. Not to say that those guys are Kyle Fuller caliber players, but I think that they can pick up some of the slack and at least, give you quality minutes while maybe you're bringing a third round pick up to speed.
Okay. Boy, so, and I apologize, I have not seen your most recent mock. Is there a particular tackle then you'd like them to go after at 20? Yeah,
actually, I'll plug my next mock draft is going to be out in a day or two, so look for that at shawlocal.com. But I think it comes down to what some of these teams ahead of them do. In a perfect scenario, I think Christian Darrisaw is the guy they would absolutely love to have, but I don't know that he's going to fall to number 20. I think that's the reason why you see a lot of these mocks have them with Tevin Jenkins, is just by process of elimination from which teams ahead of them need tackles. They're probably going to wind up picking the fourth best tackle if you're considering Elijah Vera Tucker a guard. He's offensive guard number 1 on a lot of boards, and I think Jenkins is a really fine pick. I think he could come in and play right tackle. He just doesn't have the experience at left tackle, which you would maybe want long term. But that's not to say that you couldn't teach him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten how many years out of Charles Leno at left tackle, and he was a 7th round pick. So they've got some development there. We've got some action in the chat room real quick.
Okay.
One suggestion from Davidson Crooks. He suggests drafting a tackle and then perhaps going after Dennis Kelly in free agency. Chicago Heights native Dennis Kelly, previously of the Titans. I know Davidson is a Titans guy. And then Taryn asks in the chat, if the Bears do trade up, who ideally is that for? Is it a quarterback, or is there anybody else in the first round that you would think they might trade up to go get?
That's interesting. If you're trading all the way up to 4, I think it's got to be a quarterback. The price tag that's going to come with that trade, I would be shocked if it's anything else. Now, if you're talking about trading up to, maybe, for example, we were just talking about Christian Darrisaw. If he starts dropping down to 12, 13, 14, 15 range, maybe they could, if they really feel strongly about him, maybe they could spend a little bit less and move up a handful of picks to get a guy like that. Those are the 2 most likely trade-up scenarios I see, because I think it's going to cost you a lot to get a quarterback. You're going to have to trade up either to number 4 or maybe to Carolina at number 8 or Denver at number 9.
All right. And I'm glad we're having this talk because in my mock I have the Bears taking a corner, so I will be sure to fix that before we get to draft night. So this is good that we've done this.
the thing, Adam, is that we talk about this and analyze this a lot, but we're all really smart before the draft, right? We'll see what actually happens come Thursday.
Yeah. And then it all goes out the window after that. All right. So if the Bears don't go quarterback in the first round, which is likely that there just won't be a guy there in the first round to take, they've got to take a quarterback at somewhere in this draft, right? Where does that happen for the Bears in this draft?
Yeah, I mean, I think as I'm kind of saying this a lot, but I think it always comes into play. It's going to depend what happens a little bit. If a guy like Davis Mills is there in the second round, maybe they strongly consider that. But who knows? Kyle Trask, Davis Mills, if those guys are gone by the time the 52nd pick comes around, you're not going to reach for a quarterback in the second round unless you like the guy who's there. And if there's somebody, if those guys are gone, maybe they do wait a little bit. Maybe they do get some depth at cornerback, at receiver, even at, they could add some depth at safety or somewhere else. I could see them picking a quarterback, honestly, in a lot of different spots. I could see them going for one in the second round. I could also see them waiting until late in day 3 and maybe taking a flyer on a Jamie Newman type guy.
Yeah, I've heard Kellen Mond from Texas A&M's name get mentioned a lot as a take a flyer on him kind of a quarterback guy as well.
He's another one. If he's there at 52, maybe they take a chance on him there.
And then last thing on the draft, obviously, of course, they've got, for the first time in 3 years, they have a first-round pick. They have a pick in each of the first 3 rounds, but then they've got a lot of picks, but the bulk of them are showing up in the 6th round. They don't have a 4th. They don't have a 7th. We know Ryan Pace likes to wheel and deal. Who are some of the day 3 guys that might wind up coming to the Bears and making an impact? Are there certain positions that we think could happen late in the draft that could be impactful for the Bears this year?
Yeah, it's similar to what we've been saying here. I think they need depth at receiver because they don't have a lot. We don't really know what the situation is going forward with Anthony Miller. If he's part of the team that solves, at least one more spot, but that's still not, I don't know what the long-term future is there beyond this year, even if he's on the team this year. I'm looking at, maybe they get a receiver who can do a little bit on special teams too. I actually really like Dwayne Eskridge from Western Michigan. I think he's a guy who could give you, he averaged 27 yards per kick return in college, and that's just a really, that's a big number. And the loss of Cordero Patterson, that hurts too. They got to find somebody who can fill that role for them.
Yeah. Without bringing Cordero back, that is a big hole. Special teams from their wide receiver unit is something that they've been kind of lacking the last couple of years. So yeah, that is going to be a key component. Well, Sean, thank you so very, very much for hopping on and getting us prepped for Thursday. I know that this entire weekend is going to be very, very hectic and very, very busy. Have fun with it.
Yeah, Adam, thanks again for having me on.
All right, that is Sean Hammond from Shaw Media. You should absolutely follow him on Twitter. You can find him again at Sean_Hammond. I believe, I'm looking here real quick, I believe he is also on the on Instagram at Bears_reporter. Give him a follow. Check out his work. He does a great job covering the Bears. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, let's kind of dissect some of this and go through what the Bears might do and have some fun with that. And then also, there was some very shocking news that hit the Bears alumni family over the weekend. We will talk about that about Steve Mongo McMichael. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy Dentarius Law.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well then, you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before, you gotta check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Want to catch up in the chat room a little bit. Davidson and Taryn were both pretty busy in there during that last segment. Just wanted to come in on that. Davidson commented that he's not sure he would let Ryan Pace make another decision at quarterback again. I am somewhat surprised that they decided to keep Ryan Pace this offseason. I've talked about it a bit before, that this would have seemed like a time to kind of blow things up a little bit and start fresh. But at the same time, you've made the decision that Ryan Pace is your general manager and Matt Nagy is your head coach. It would be unfair to handcuff them and tell them, well, you're allowed to make the decisions, but you can't make this decision. You know, you've empowered them to have their jobs. Let them do it. Don't hold them back and say, well, we want you to be the general manager, but you can't pick a quarterback. Well, we want you to be the head coach, but don't pick a quarterback. You need to let them, if you trust them to do the job, then you need to let them do the job. And I think that's what the Bears are going to do. Taryn commenting that his Los Angeles Chargers are certainly going to be looking at an offensive tackle in the first round, and that certainly makes a lot of sense for them. In the one mock that I have put together, I actually did not have them taking an offensive lineman, not because I didn't think it was a need, simply because looking at where they were and who was available in my mock, there wasn't a guy that made sense there. And speaking of mocks, there is a huge 3-and-out show that is going to be here on IE Sports Radio this Wednesday at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. Larry B. and Mike from Let's Whine About Sports, and Taryn from SoCal Supreme Sports Show, myself, and I'm sure several other hosts from around IE Sports are all going to be getting on and breaking down and previewing and getting ready for the NFL draft. That is this Wednesday. We've all submitted mock drafts into it. We're going to be making an IE Sports kind of collaborative mock draft. If you, the listener, have a mock draft that you'd like to submit, please do so. We are having a mock draft challenge where the winner, it's one round, no trades. The winner will get gear from IE Sports, hats, shirts, apparel, and the such, and then also will get a shout-out on every single show on the network the following week, whether it's this show on Monday nights or Davidson on his show Fast Break on Sunday nights, or if it's one of Taryn's shows, either Set Point, Monday or Tuesday when he does them throughout the week, or SoCal Supreme on Friday nights, or any of the other various shows on the network, you will get a shout out for that. So definitely submit your mock drafts to IE Sports. Send them right to Mike Pat. You can find him on Twitter at MikePat91. He's the host of Let's Whine About Sports. He also helps out with 3-and-Out and several other shows. He does an awesome job, and he keeps track of all the mock drafts for everybody for that. So you definitely want to tune in Wednesday night as we break down preview the NFL draft on Wednesday night, 6 Central, 3-and-Out. It's good to talk with other people about it. I admit I had the Bears taking a corner with my pick. I will be reevaluating that. I had them looking at taking Caleb Farley. The way I come at it from the Bears, obviously quarterback is the biggest need for this team. But I don't see, I agree with Sean. I think it's going to be very, very, very tricky for the Bears to fix that need this year in the first round. Never mind, there are 5 guys, but easily 4 of the 5 could go in the top 10, and it's just going to be, and the first 3 picks are probably going to be, are almost certainly going to be quarterbacks. We know the first 2 will be quarterbacks. At San Francisco, I don't see how you traded all those assets to move up from 12 to 3 and not take a quarterback. So you're suddenly looking only 2 other quarterbacks to be on the board from 4 through 20, with other quarterback needy teams in there. Teams like immediately in front of the Bears, the Washington football team at 19, the New England Patriots at 15 are quarterback needy. The Denver Broncos at 9 could certainly be looking at taking a quarterback. And possibly the Detroit Lions at 7 might be taking a quarterback. And that's, of course, assuming that nobody trades. You know, there's always trades that go on draft night, especially when quarterbacks are involved. So it's going to take a lot for the Bears to get one of these guys, one of these top 5 guys. In a perfect world, from the quarterback perspective, I'd love to see them get Justin Fields. I mentioned this yesterday. I was in the chat on Let's Whine About Sports with Mike Pat. He was on in the afternoon yesterday instead of the evening, his normal time, and he was discussing how there's a lot of rumors floating out there right now that Justin Fields seems to be the guy that is falling on everybody's board, whether it's because he has epilepsy or whether they have issues with some of his numbers from his pro days, or just everybody falling in love with Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and Mac Jones, that Fields just is becoming the odd man out in this. I commented that if Fields somehow falls outside of the top 10, look out. Just get out of Ryan Pace's way. He will throw every pick he has at going up to get a quarterback if one of these guys falls out of the top 10. I firmly believe that he will move up to get his guy if his guy falls. That's why it'll be interesting to see. Pace has his pre-draft press conference tomorrow morning. It'll be interesting. Normally general managers for these things, they make an art out of using 1,000 words to say nothing. We'll see if anything slips through the cracks and we get any idea of who they might be looking at as far as quarterback. But outside of quarterback, I really fall squarely into the category of take the best guy available that fills a hole, fills a gap. The other 3 big needs are offensive tackle, wide receiver, and corner. Personally, I do not care which of those positions they address with the first round. Those are 3 of the deepest positions in this class. Personally, I don't get hung up in which position it is. Sean mentioned it a lot, that it's so dependent on how the draft falls, how the board falls to you at that spot. If there's been a huge run in a position and you're suddenly looking at the 6th or 7th best player at that position, does it really make sense to take him as opposed to maybe one of the top 2 or 3 guys at the other positions? You know, it's all about trusting your board. You want to take the guy that is highest on your board that fills a gap. I've heard many people talk about your goal in a draft, in every draft, is to come away with 2 starters. You want your first round pick to be a starter, and you want somebody else. It really doesn't matter who, guys, rounds 2 through 7 to be a starter. I think, fortunately, the Bears' holes outside of quarterback happen to line up with this draft pretty well. So as long as they wind up with 2 guys that you feel that you feel comfortable plugging in and starting, either right away from day 1 or soon after day 1, then I would label this as a successful class for Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. But of course, Pace loves to tinker and throw picks around and wheel and deal. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens not only Thursday, but then Friday and Saturday as well as we go through rounds 2 through 7 over the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, this past weekend, there was a huge bomb that dropped in the Bears family. Steve Mongo McMichael, defensive lineman on the 85 Bears, came publicly forward and announced that he has ALS, more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And if you've seen the pictures, the Chicago Tribune had a wonderful article on it. Jarrett Payton did a special on WGN talking with Mongo. If you've seen any of the pictures of him compared to how he looked just a few years ago, he is a shell of himself. It is ravaging him. And it is, unfortunately, this is a disease that right now we don't have a way to reverse. We don't have a way to fix. There is no cure right now for ALS. So it's shocking. You know, it's a reminder of, even for the gladiators and the heroes of our sports, they are mortals. I have an interesting relationship with the 85 Bears in that I was not alive to see them. I was born in 87. So I have no memories of watching the 85 Bears as it occurred. I have watched games of the 85 Bears. I actually, last year, this time, it was the beginning of April last year, I actually watched for the first time as a broadcast Super Bowl 20. Of course, I knew everything that happened in the game. I knew all the stories. The 30 for 30 documentary on the 85 Bears and read the books and all those things. I knew the story of the team, but I'd never actually seen Super Bowl 20. I got a chance to watch it last year. The NFL Network did a rebroadcast. But as such, it's very much, the 85 Bears are historical for me. I don't have that visceral, I fell in love with them first mentality that so many Bears fans have, somewhat to the detriment of the club, be it the Bears fans or even the Bears organization, which seems to be kind of stuck. You know, many fans and the organization in ways seem to be stuck in that mode of, well, you know, we had one of the greatest teams of all time back in 85. We can, you know, people will always know the Bears because of the 85 Bears. And, well, you've got 3 generations of fans now that the 85 Bears are nothing but a textbook, are nothing but history. And that the more modern history of the franchise has been one of frustration. But it's still, you know, the 30 for 30 documentary came out, I want to say that was 5 or 6 years ago. I didn't look it up before doing the show. I want to say that it came out about 5 or 6 years ago, was the 30 for 30. Mongo, Steve McMichael, even then, he had that look, that fire and intensity and passion. It was just like, oh, this guy's crazy. I don't want to do anything to upset him because he might rip my limbs off. He had the perfect mentality for post-career. He went into the WWF, as it was called then, WWE. It'd be interesting to get the Ring Rambling crew's opinion on Saturday morning when they do the Ring Rambling show talking about professional wrestling, see what opinions they might have of Steve McMichael from back in the 90s when he was a professional wrestler. But you could see he had that intensity and that look. He was one of the guys that Mike Singletary would have to say at the end of the game, towards the end of games, he would have to talk to players and say, "Hey, we need to back off. They're done. The other team, they're beaten. They're done. They're whipped. We need to back off," because McMichael would just tear after people. And so to see him down to what he is now, where it's his wife is helping him get dressed and eat food and drink water and those kinds of basic things, it's shocking. And it just reminds you that we are, no matter how strong or athletic or visceral we are, at some point, Father Time's going to find you. So it was a sad story to come out this weekend. Of course, thoughts and prayers with McMichael and his family. They have set up a GoFundMe to help him. He's going to be getting I've heard he's going to be getting a new wheelchair. That's going to be as expensive as some cars. So if you are so inclined to help the McMichael family, they have set up a GoFundMe. Obvious Shirts has set up a Steve McMichael shirt that you can get, that all the proceeds will go to help their family. So just very sad news from over the weekend. I hate to make it sound like I'm burying him, because he's not gone, but he's definitely it's going to be very different seeing Steve McMichael that way. All right, we are going to take one more break, and then when we come back, we have another player that we're going to be reminiscing about, but it's going to be a little bit under more happy circumstances. A Blackhawk character for sure had a big announcement this morning. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with lists of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the college, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Rose Rate, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development, but we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest donors. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back and in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Want to give one more shout out to our sponsors this week, Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. You can call AO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just two people on a mission to help families build a legacy. Follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut, on Instagram at sims_uncut, or find them on Facebook at Legacy Financial. And the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California _Warriors, or on Facebook by searching Southern California Warriors. And since I didn't do it in the first segment, the way you can interact with IE Sports, of course, we are on all the social platforms. Find us at Twitter at IE Sports Radio, Instagram at IE Sports Radio, or on Facebook by searching IE Sports Radio. You can also go to our website at iesportsradio.com. You can also interact with this show on Twitter at IESRC, or follow my personal Twitter feed at Adam_Karnick. So, for the last segment tonight, there was news that broke this morning with the Blackhawks. Andrew Shaw put out a fantastic video with help from the Blackhawks media department, putting out a video effectively saying that he is retiring from professional hockey. Very simple reason, his health. He's had several concussions over the last couple of seasons. The last 2 years, he's only played a grand total of 40 games, just 14 this season so far for the Blackhawks. And he's got to think about his health. He's got to think about what's good for him and for his family at this time. Shaw is one of those guys that was very easy. If you were a hockey fan, it was very easy to like Andrew Shaw. He was scrappy. He was tenacious. You'd never know looking at the guy, 5'11", 180 pounds. He looked like a regular guy, maybe even a little scrawny for a regular guy. You'd never think of Shaw as somebody that was going to get into fights, was going to be scrappy, was going to position himself in front of the other team's net and just not move, regardless of what you tried to do to get him off of his spot. In another era, he talked in the retirement video that in just his second ever professional shift, he dropped the gloves with a player from Philadelphia. In a bygone era of hockey, Shaw probably would have just been an enforcer. He would have been a fourth liner that it was his job to go out there and just agitate the other team's top line and drop the gloves with somebody from time to time and get the dirty penalty minutes that somebody's got. It's a thankless job, but somebody's got to do it. But that would have been a shame because Shaw had skills as a skater too and as a shooter. He had 75 goals he had 116 goals over a 10-year NHL career, playing in a total of 544 games. He finished with 247 career points. He was somebody that knew what to do with the puck when he got it. He was not afraid to shoot. He was not afraid to be a playmaker out there on the ice. Yes, he got a lot of goals that were tip-ins or redirects, sometimes off of a stick, sometimes off of a skate, sometimes off of a shin. My personal favorite Andrew Shaw moment was a goal that didn't count. It was in the 2015 Western Conference Final Series against Anaheim. They were in multi-overtime, and there was a scramble in front of the Anaheim net. The puck bounced up into the air, and Shaw recognized that he had a play to be made, but not with his stick, with his head. He soccer style headered the puck into the net. And immediately he knew what he'd done, and he began celebrating with his teammates, knowing full well that the goal was almost certainly going to be overturned. And it led to one of the great officials moments in the NHL where the official had to come out and explain in a terrific Canadian accent that the Chicago person deliberately headbutted the puck into the net. Therefore, it would not count as a goal. But that was Andrew Shaw. Just energy, and he was going to do whatever it took to get the puck into the net. And if it didn't count, okay, it didn't count. If it got under your skin, all the better for it. So congratulations to Shaw on a terrific NHL career. He's always going to be a fan favorite because he had that everyman presence. He wasn't the guy that was the most gifted or the most skilled, but he was the guy that was a heck of a lot of fun to watch on the ice. So congratulations to Andrew Shaw on a successful NHL career, and best of luck to you in whatever road lies ahead of you. That is going to do it for our show tonight. Lots of shout-outs and thanks to go around for tonight's show. Of course, thank you to our sponsors, Legacy Financial and the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team, for continuing to support us here at IE Sports Radio and keep the lights on. It is very much appreciated. Thank you to Sean Hammond for hopping on the show and giving us a draft preview. Again, you can follow Sean and look for him to drop his next mock draft later this week. You can follow him at Sean_Hammond. Thank you to Aaron and Davidson for hopping into the chat and going back and forth a bit there. That was a lot of fun. Always good to interact with you guys. Thank you to Larry B., the recently engaged Larry B., by the way. Congratulations to him on that, and thank you, Larry, for all you do for the show and for the network and just keeping everything afloat and running. And thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot that you guys take time out of your week, whether it's live, listening on Monday nights, or later on as a podcast during the week. I'm just glad that we are able to interact and talk sports back and forth in the best sports city in the country, bar none. Again, if you are a draft junkie and you just haven't gotten enough NFL draft, and let's face it, I'm pretty sure you are, you do not want to miss Wednesday nights 3 and Out. We are going to be going through everything NFL draft related. I'm going to be there, Taryn's going to be there, Larry will be there, Mike will be there. There will be other hosts throughout the network coming in and out. Great chance to see us and interact with us and just get to know some of the other hosts throughout the network. And then, of course, next week we'll be breaking down just who the Bears got and how this might help the team going forward. Until then, stay safe, stay well. We will see you next week.